Welcome back for today's agriculture news from the Western Ag Network here on the Cowboy State Daily. Today we see that 11 national agriculture organizations have filed comments on the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's controversial proposed greenhouse gas disclosure rule. Now, this rule would require publicly traded companies to disclose their direct energy consumption and supply chain emissions, which farm advocates say would create a burden on food producers who supply publicly traded processors, restaurants, and retailers. The National Potato Council is a part of the coalition opposed to what they call an overreaching government mandate.
What they're saying is, if you are an SEC regulated entity, if you're a publicly traded company on the stock exchange, for example, you need to report your impact on the climate, your greenhouse gas emissions footprint. But they go beyond that, and this is how agriculture gets sucked in. They've also said you have to report on the entirety of your supply chain. In so doing, that drives SEC regulations all the way down to the family farm.
By law, the rule would require publicly traded companies to track their emissions all the way back to the farm.
I think it's highly likely in the example of a publicly traded grocery store that sells potatoes, that grocery store is going to come to farmers all the way down at the farm level and say, we need you to quantify your greenhouse gas emissions, effectively your climate footprint. Because we, as the grocery store, we're your customer, and we want to minimize the amount of work that we're taking on. So you're going to do for your section of this gigantic pie that we're all having to take a bite of, you're going to do that yourself, and you're going to certify this for us.
Other members of the Ag Coalition opposing the SEC proposed rule include the American Farm Bureau, National Cattlemen's Beef Association, and National Association of Wheat Growers, among others. We'll be right back.
Yummy. Beef being a nutrient-dense food is a really good option.
It's really easy for them to grasp.
First it was just ground beef and purees, and now he loves steak.
Returning back today, we see that the high costs of inputs and many other factors have driven farmers and ranchers' confidence to one of its lowest levels on record. We see that 7 out of every 10 large-scale farmers and ranchers expect high inflation to persist into 2023, and 51% anticipate their operations will be worse off financially next summer than they are right now. That's all coming from the monthly Purdue University Ag Economy Barometer, which is a gauge of farmer confidence, and it fell to its second lowest level since October 2016. In the survey, 64% of producers said they expect the price of farm inputs would be at least 20% higher this year over 2021. But the top concern for 2023's growing season will be the higher input costs, chosen by 43% of respondents. The second greatest concern for next year, coming in at 21%, was the availability of said inputs. That's today's Farm and Ranch News. For more, visit us online at westernagnetwork.com. Stay safe out there, friends.